On February 17th, we have a solar eclipse. This is big for our lives and for crypto. We take a look at the astrology here, and this is when the moon is exactly in the middle of the Earth and the sun. And interesting enough, we have Uranus, which is making almost a perfect 90-degree angle to. So we call that a square. So this particular eclipse is squaring Uranus, which is very significant. Today we're going to be talking about the astrology chart as well as the crypto charts with Bitcoin and altcoins, so stay tuned. The core signature of this solar eclipse is big volatility, as we have this square to Uranus, unpredictability, and it is a stress test for crypto and potentially the markets and our individual lives and also world events. A lot of unpredictability comes with Uranus. The message is blunt with this eclipse is the future cannot be built on the old foundations that we have created for ourselves. So things are going to get shaken up further on the world stage and with crypto and in our individual lives. So this eclipse is destabilizing. It destabilizes false narratives and false certainty. So if we can stay positive, it's actually can be a very positive thing. It will shake up things that are no longer in alignment for our lives. It will expose fragile systems. So we could have a stress test with crypto. Like I said, crypto could get possibly another correction. This prepares the ground for Uranus moving into Gemini in April, at the end of April. So we still have a couple months until that happens, but this is kind of the initial stress test. This really activates Uranus. Uranus is extremely present and building pressure in the month of February, as we already had Uranus. We had Venus squaring Uranus. We have the sun squaring Uranus very soon. Then we have this eclipse squaring Uranus, and then we have Mars squaring Uranus at the end of the month. And in addition to that, we also have, I could show you guys on the astrology chart, we also have these two planets here. We have Saturn and Neptune ingressing into Aries at 0 degrees, which is very, very significant. And they are going to conjunct on February 21st. And we'll be discussing the themes with that are also very significant. So we have major, major, major world changes with this particular eclipse. It's going to be a wild ride, so buckle your seatbelts. This eclipse is basically saying, pay attention, something fundamental is changing. So the best that we can go along with these changes and flow with it, flow with the current of the universe, the better. In 4 days, as I was saying, Saturn is going to ingress 0 degrees Aries. This is saying to all of us that you must now take responsibility for your choices. No one is coming to save you. Saturn is all about responsibility. It's going to be activated in the next 4 days here. This is very significant. As for crypto, this eclipse is not immediately bullish for crypto, and particularly because we get this square to Uranus, which can bring a lot of volatility, a lot of unknown. This eclipse is in Aquarius, so the sun and moon are in Aquarius, but the eclipses remove certainty before they create opportunity. Eclipses are often initiations. There's a lot of unknown. And so it's not a time to feel like we know what's going to happen. We know which direction the crypto market's going to go. Anyone who's acting like that, any influencers out there that are saying they know exactly what's going to happen, do not listen to them. Just like cut them, stop watching their channel. It couldn't be further from the truth. With Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which can represent money, liquidity is nervous during these times. All right. Traders are reactive, conviction is low, volatility increases, but the direction is unclear. So it is possible that we get a move up with crypto, maybe a little bit, but I would not be super, super optimistic because it's quite likely, in my opinion, that we could have another retest of the lows. We could get another test at 60K, but we could head into the 50Ks. It's certainly possible, not guaranteed, but shakeouts are quite likely, in my opinion, over the next month. And so we could have Bitcoin holding up better than altcoins. So far, it's been interesting. Ethereum has been holding up decently well. Solana, but I mean, most altcoins have gotten quite crushed. XRP had a huge down day back in February 5th, but is getting a decent rebound. But it's uncertain to say how strong these altcoins are going to hold up. The safe bet, I would say, is definitely Bitcoin. An even safer bet would be cash, at least in the short term, as there could be very heightened volatility during these times. In terms of the broader perspective, astrologically speaking, this eclipse is all about systems disruption. The likely global themes include tech or infrastructure disruptions, financial system stress test, sudden policy announcements, decentralization versus control tension. We've been seeing that for many, many years. And with Aquarius and Uranus activated, which can represent technology and crypto, but also it could represent cyber security issues, AI governance crises, digital identity debates, and protests tied to economic insecurity. We've already been seeing a ton of that. But again, this is not the final explosion. It's mainly the crack. So this is kind of the beginning cracks that we start to see in the world stage, maybe in some of the narratives. We're seeing the Epstein files coming out, so that's a big crack. And we could see further things such as that. What happens after the eclipse is very important. As I was saying, we do get Saturn conjunct Neptune. Saturn conjunct Neptune on February 21st brings the energy of the realization that the old dream is over. So those who are pining after and trying to go back to the past the way things were is just not going to happen. This is the time when things really, really move forward, and there is no turning back. On a collective level, financial myths dissolve. We have been in inflation, and it is not going away soon. Trust in the old narratives erode. Another thing with the Epstein files coming out, people feel the weight of reality. So Saturn is all about a big dose of reality. So we could absolutely be having that coming up very, very soon here. Also in financial astrology, what's very fascinating is that Neptune is a watery planet, and it can represent inflation and liquidity, while Saturn represents deflation and contraction. So Saturn will be saying at this time, February 21st, you can't continue expanding forever. Saturn will say to liquidity, pay the bill. The bill is due. Liquidity has been going absolutely crazy with inflation. We had the most money printing we've ever seen in the world back in 2020 after that big event that happened. And now we have Saturn that is going to bring a hard dose of reality. So when Saturn is activated, easy money dries up. We're already seeing this. Risk appetite shrinks. We're already seeing that with crypto going way down. Crypto typically only goes up when risk appetite goes way up. So this is also leverage unwinding. We just saw one of the biggest liquidity events back in early February where all of the people who were trading with leverage got wiped out. And Saturn transits like this often can align with market crashes, even recessions, although I don't think we're heading into that yet, tightening financial conditions and regulatory enforcement. So there are some quite big red flags, and we could see markets have some very strong downside. We could even see an S&P 500 macro market crash of some sort. It could be 10% to 20% correction. I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly on this day, but it sure could. And I'd say any time in the next couple months, we could see this. As Saturn collides with Neptune here in about 11 days, we could see inflation and deflation collide. Old monetary narratives dissolving, new monetary structures forced into being, central banks losing control, and market swings between excessiveness and restriction. So this can often correspond to regime changes in monetary policy, breakdown of old economic models, emergence of new stores of value, such as crypto or gold and silver, which we're going to the moon, and currency system transitions. We're certainly seeing that. And historically, Saturn and Neptune alignments correlate with the collapse of empires. So arguably, we're seeing, there's definitely going to be debates about this, but we're seeing potentially the collapse of the American empire. We're seeing debt resets, monetary reforms, shifts in reserve currencies. We're definitely seeing that. And ideological economic rewrites. All right, so basically massive, massive changes. We're going to be covering this a lot more in this year, so stay tuned. A great way to navigate this period is personally, don't rush decisions, ground your nervous system, reduce information overload. Don't get lost in watching way too much information. Expect emotional spikes, especially spikes and dumps in crypto. Listen more than you act and prepare rather than react. This is a time for patience. Do not sign any major contracts. Take it easy. Take some rest. In the markets, we could see sideways and choppy action, which is normal. It's a great time to avoid being over leveraged. Respect the volatility. Stay patient. Don't chase breakouts because they could dump right after, and wait for the post-eclipse clarity. That's the best tip that I can give you. 2026 is not a normal market year. Normal strategies will not work. Astrology confirms that this year is a structural reset year with extreme volatility, which is coming up in this eclipse specifically. We could see all kinds of things happen. Most traders will experience this year as mistops, panic sells. Who has already panic sold? Let me know in the comments below. I know there's a lot of people who have already, sold some of their bags. Over trading, frozen indecision, or blind hope while ignoring the major warning signs that I've been warning you guys about for months. Like I said in my previous videos, I sold back in October, and I have the videos to prove that. Introducing the Crypto Astro Mastermind. This is not about predicting the exact prices. This is about seeing the 2026 terrain before you enter it, to stay calm, cool, and collected in the chaos, in the volatility. When you understand that markets are primed for shock events this year, extreme volatility like on this eclipse, with huge potential downside risk and potentially followed by massive upside, we could have the trades of our lifetimes and really prosper in this year. When you are clear with what's going on here, you stop reacting and you start positioning correctly. In 2026, what separates winners from losers isn't more indicators, more information, more overwhelm, more confusion, more opinions out there. Do not keep listening to all of those influencers out there. It creates more confusion. In the Crypto Astro Mastermind, you're supported by clear, live monthly guidance by me. Real-time Q&A where you can ask me your questions and your concerns. This is the integration of astrology, technical analysis, and mindset, one of the most important parts. I give simple and effective strategies for 2026 based on the particular astrology that we are in here. This is a curated group that knows what kind of year this is. It's a private Telegram group with other experienced investors that you can mastermind with. This allows you to protect your profits, not lose them. Avoid costly mistakes. Act decisively. Make profitable trades to actually make profits this year instead of huge losses, so you can succeed. Secure your seat now and enter 2026 prepared, grounded, and positioned. The total for this is $1,997. But for those who are watching right now in February, during this eclipse season, I want to do something very special, add these special bonuses. The 2026 Crypto Astrology Master Timeline. This is the month-by-month walkthrough of the astrology specifically for Bitcoin, and I've also added XRP and Ethereum, and we'll also be adding Solana very, very soon. This is to master crypto during one of the most volatile years of our lives. Plus, you will receive a high-value 60-minute Crypto Ascension group call with me, complimentary today when you sign up during this eclipse season. I want to do something very special. I will walk you through the most critical profit windows of the 2026 Bitcoin and XRP astrology, helping you refine your mindset, your timing, and decision-making so you can prosper and succeed in this year. This group call is happening very, very soon on February 25th. And I'm going to do something very special since you're watching this all the way till this part of the video. Since we're starting a new year and you're one of my avid viewers, when you use the special coupon code on the checkout page. So you're going to click the link below, go to the checkout page, scroll to the bottom. There's a little box that you can type in Crypto 2026. When you do that, the first 3 spots were only $6.97, but we already ran out of those. I'm going to open up 5 new spots during this eclipse season for only $797. And you get everything that I just mentioned. So click the link below. As I've been saying, we could see major volatility on this solar eclipse. We could see unpredictability. This is a big stress test for our lives. And so there's a lot of unknown. It's not a time to jump into making major decisions. It's not a time to go all in on the markets unless you're willing to hold at least a year. This is not a time to sign major contracts. This is a time to step back, to calm your nervous system, center yourself with meditation or long walks in nature. Whatever you need to do, take a beautiful warm bath. This is a time to find deeper clarity and not jump into things. All right, this is a time to pay attention and reflect because something major is changing in our lives and on the world stage. Best of luck during this eclipse. From my heart to you, much love. Stay tuned for more videos to come on this channel. I'm here to support you, guide you guys, and I will see you on the next video. All right, peace.